All right, so today we're gonna dive into something that I think affects pretty much everyone, right?
Yeah.
Insurance.
Yeah.
But we're adding a little twist here. We're
Yeah.
looking at how global events, like, if you can believe it, trade wars,
Oh, yeah.
can actually like sneak up on you and affect your wallet in ways you might not expect.
It's a fascinating link. I find the link between geopolitics and personal finances fascinating. It's
Yeah,
closer than you think.
for sure. Closer than you think.
Yeah.
So to help us unpack all of this, we've got two kind of key sources we're going to be looking at. First up, we've got Good Rates Insurance.
Okay.
This is a website that gives us a really good overview of like the types of insurance that most people need.
Right.
So we're talking like business insurance, auto insurance, home insurance, all that good stuff.
The basics. Yeah.
The basics, exactly.
The essentials.
The essentials. And to bring in that trade war angle,
Yeah.
we've got this really timely article. It's called Trade War Impact on Canadian Property and Casualty Insurance. And get this, it was published just yesterday.
Oh, wow. Hot off the press.
Hot off the press, right? And it dives into how the current U.S.-Canada trade war, which is very real, could actually drive up those insurance premiums we all pay.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, you might be thinking like, how does a trade war, some of this happening between governments, how does that affect my insurance?
Right. Right.
Well, imagine this. You get into a fender bender, you need a few repairs, and suddenly that accident is costing you way more
Oh.
because of a political dispute that's happening thousands of miles away.
Yeah. So how does that work?
I know, it's mind-boggling, right?
Yeah.
But, well, it all boils down to this kind of ripple effect.
Okay.
And to understand that, we need to start with, like, the trade war itself.
Right.
So the U.S. and Canada are in this, like, full-blown tariff battle.
Okay.
Both sides are just imposing these import taxes
Yeah.
on this huge range of goods. We're talking everything from meat to cars to even, like, flooring, you name it.
So like basically everyday thing.
Basically everyday things. Yeah, and it's serious. Like this is not a joke. The article even quotes Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau as saying, and this is a direct quote, "Our tariffs will remain in place until the U.S. tariffs are withdrawn and not a moment sooner."
Wow, he's pretty serious about that then.
Yeah, strong words. So, these tariffs, they essentially act like taxes
Okay.
on these imported goods. So when businesses have to pay more for the things they need to operate to make their products,
Yeah.
those costs eventually get passed down to, well,
Us,
the consumer.
the consumers, right? So it's a domino effect.
It is a total domino effect.
Yeah.
Higher costs for businesses ultimately topple onto us.
Right. And this is where insurance comes in.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about it.
So let's say you're a homeowner, right?
Yeah,
And you need to replace your roof.
yeah.
Well, because of these tariffs, the cost of building materials goes up. Right. So suddenly making that roof replacement way more expensive than it would have been a few years ago.
Okay, I see.
And guess what? That means insurance companies have to pay out more for those claims,
Great. So hold on. Are you telling me my home insurance premiums could go up just because of a trade war on lumber?
Potentially, yes.
Oh, man.
Especially in Canada.
Oh.
So the article highlights a key difference in how home and auto insurance premiums are regulated.
Okay, now hold on. Now you're using words like regulated and unregulated. Can we break that down a bit?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get like lost in insurance jargon sometimes.
Right. I understand. Think of it like this.
Okay.
With home insurance,
Mm-hmm.
the price can change just as quickly as gas prices do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
So it's unregulated in Ontario, which means insurers can adjust their rates quickly
Yeah.
to reflect those higher costs from things like, you guessed it,
Tariffs.
tariffs.
So homeowners could be in for a bit of sticker shock then, huh?
Potentially, yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, so that's home insurance. What about us drivers?
Right.
What should we be watching out for with auto insurance?
Well, auto insurance, as we discussed, it's regulated.
Right.
So there's a bit of a buffer before those premium hikes hit.
Okay.
It's not a matter of if, it's more like a matter of when,
It's like
Yeah.
it's almost like waiting for the other shoe to drop, but like how long do we have?
Well, the article citing Fish Ratings suggests it could be more than a year before we see these trade war-related increases
Okay.
reflected in our auto insurance premiums.
So we have some time,
Yeah.
but it's still coming.
Well, because insurance companies, they need time to gather the data on claims costs
Right.
before they can justify those increases to regulators.
Makes sense. So we might have a year or so to prepare, but like Even knowing it's coming, it's
Yeah.
not really that reassuring.
I understand. It's important to remember that these these trade-related increases are coming on top of all these other factors that are already pushing premiums up.
Like what?
Things like the rising cost of auto theft that we keep hearing about
Hmm.
and natural disasters.
Oh, right. It seems like everything is just conspiring to make insurance more expensive these days.
Oh, the article does mention that along with auto theft, the increasing frequency and severity of natural disasters, especially in Canada,
Yeah.
they're already putting upward pressure on premiums.
So we've got this like double whammy effect
Yeah.
with trade wars, adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
What does this all mean for like the average person who's just trying to, manage their insurance costs?
Well, I think it means we need to be a lot more savvy about our insurance choices.
Yeah, for sure.
This is where having a solid understanding of the different types of insurance out there
Okay.
becomes really, really important.
Yeah, it sounds like we need to be a lot more proactive,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. This is where Goodrates Insurance comes in, right?
Right.
They offer a good overview of all those most common types of coverage.
Their website, I was looking at it earlier, it seems to have a lot of resources there.
Yeah, they cover everything from business and auto to home insurance and even like the more specialized types like, professional liability.
Right. It's
Yeah.
a good reminder. There's a whole world of insurance out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But for like the average person, I mean, are those like core types, the business, auto, and home, are those the ones that are likely to be most affected by these trade wars?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, so let's like break it down, by insurance type.
Sure.
Let's start with like homeowners.
Okay.
If these building materials are continuing to kind of get hit with these tariffs,
Hmm.
does that mean like renovations and repairs are just going to keep getting more and more expensive?
It seems likely, yeah. And because home insurance is unregulated in Ontario, those price increases can be passed on to consumers much faster than with auto insurance.
So if I'm like a homeowner, what can I actually do to prepare for these potential price hikes?
Yeah.
It's not like I can just decide to not have a roof.
Right. Well, this is where being proactive comes in, right? So first of all, review your current coverage.
Okay.
Is it actually enough to cover the replacement cost of your home and your belongings, considering these rising prices?
So like if I've made any like big improvements to my home recently, I might need to increase my coverage to actually like reflect those higher costs.
Potentially, yes. And definitely keep a close eye on those renewal notices from your insurer.
Yeah.
Those premium increases might start appearing sooner than you think.
Okay, so that's home insurance.
Yeah.
What about us drivers out there?
Right.
What should we be kind of watching out for with auto insurance?
Well, as we talked about, it's regulated.
Right.
So there is a bit of a buffer before those premium hikes hit, but it's not a matter of if. It's more a matter of when.
Yeah, I mean, how long though?
Well, the article citing Fitch rating suggests it could be more than a year before we see those trade war-related increases
Okay.
reflected in our auto insurance premiums.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because those insurance companies need time to actually gather data on claims costs
Right.
before they can justify those increases to the regulators.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, so we might have a year or so to prepare, but it's like even knowing it's coming down the pipeline, it's not super reassuring, is it?
Well, no, and it's important to remember that those trade-related increases are coming on top of all those other factors that are already pushing premiums up.
Right, like what?
Like the rising cost of auto theft and natural disasters.
Oh, right. Yeah. It seems like everything's just like working together to make insurance more expensive.
Well, the article does mention that along with auto theft, the increasing frequency and severity of natural disasters, especially in Canada,
Right.
are
Yeah.
already putting this upward pressure on premiums.
So it's like a perfect storm brewing for insurance premiums.
Mm.
But I mean, there's not much we can do about the cost of lumber or
Right.
natural disasters.
Right. But that's why understanding, those factors that actually influence your insurance costs is so important.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power, right? And it helps you make informed decisions about your coverage.
Okay, so besides like staying informed and reviewing our coverage, like what concrete steps can we take to be more proactive about our insurance in this kind of crazy environment?
Well, I would say talking to your insurance broker or agent is a great step.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ask them about how these trade wars are actually impacting their industry. What are they seeing in terms of claims costs? what advice do they have for clients, you know?
So it's all about like being a more informed consumer, right? Not just like blindly accepting these premium increases,
Yeah.
but actually like understanding what's driving them and
Right.
what options we might have.
Exactly. And I would say it's also about building those financial cushions where you can, if you know that these global events have the potential to impact your insurance costs, maybe you should factor that into your budget and your financial planning.
That's a good point.
Hmm.
It's easy to feel helpless when it comes to these big global forces,
Right.
but taking those steps to prepare can maybe give us back some control.
Absolutely. It's not about panicking. It's about being prepared.
Right. Speaking of being prepared,
Yeah.
I know we mentioned Good Rates Insurance earlier, but is there anything else you can tell us about them?
Yeah. I mean, they really seem to emphasize helping people understand their insurance needs,
Yeah.
which is so important these days.
Yeah.
Their website, it goes beyond just getting a quote.
Okay.
They seem to want people to really grasp what they're insuring and why,
Yeah.
which is really crucial, I think, in this ever-changing landscape.
So they can actually help people navigate these trade war impacts
Yeah.
and other factors affecting premium.
That's right. And that's why I would actually recommend reaching out to them.
Oh, okay.
They offer a free insurance coverage review
Oh, wow.
where you can discuss your specific situation and get some personalized advice.
That sounds incredibly helpful, especially with all this uncertainty surrounding trade wars and rising costs.
Yeah, it's a great way to make sure you have the right coverage at the best possible price and to feel more confident about your insurance decisions.
It's like having a personal guide
Yeah,
through the whole complex world of insurance.
exactly. They can help you understand those complex regulations and policy jargon
Yeah.
and ensure you're not overpaying or underinsured.
So if anyone's feeling overwhelmed by these like potential premium hikes
Right.
or just wants to make sure they have the right coverage, a free insurance coverage review with Good Rates Insurance sounds like it could be a really good first step.
I definitely recommend it. It's a valuable resource, especially, in this environment where those global events are hitting closer and closer to home.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that knowledge is power,
Absolutely.
and taking control of your insurance can make a big difference in your overall financial well-being.
Absolutely. And I think that's what this whole deep dive is all about, right?
Yeah.
It's about empowering you to make informed decisions.
All right, so we've explored the problem. Now, what's the solution? What can we do to feel a little bit less overwhelmed by all this? I mean, it sounds like knowledge is key, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where Good Rates Insurance really comes in. They really seem to shine when it comes to helping you understand your unique insurance needs.
Yeah, their website, it seemed like it had a lot of resources on there.
It goes beyond just getting a quote. They seem to want people to really grasp what they're insuring and why, which is I think crucial in this kind of ever-changing landscape.
So they can actually like help people navigate these trade war impacts and other factors
Yeah,
affecting premium.
And that's why I would actually highly recommend reaching out to them. They offer a free insurance coverage review
Oh, wow.
where you can kind of discuss your specific situation, get some personalized advice.
That honestly sounds incredibly helpful, especially with all this like uncertainty around trade wars and these rising costs.
It's a great way to make sure you have the right coverage at the best possible price and to just feel more confident about your insurance decisions.
It's almost like having like a personal guide
Yeah.
through this whole complex world of insurance.
Exactly. They can help you understand those complex regulations and that policy jargon
Yeah,
and ensure you're not overpaying or underinsured.
right. So if anyone listening is feeling overwhelmed by these potential premium hikes or just wants to make sure they have the right coverage, a free insurance coverage review with Good Rates Insurance sounds like a really good first step.
I would definitely recommend it. It's a valuable resource, especially in this environment, where those global events are hitting closer and closer to home.
It's a good reminder that knowledge is power, and taking control of your insurance can actually make a big difference in your overall financial well-being.
Absolutely. And I think that's what this whole deep dive has been about, right? Empowering you to make informed decisions.
Well, there you have it, folks. Trade wars and their surprising impact on your insurance premiums. It's a complex issue, but thankfully there are resources like Good Rates Insurance to help us kind of navigate it all.
Remember, stay informed, be proactive, and don't hesitate to seek expert advice when you need it.
Awesome advice. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious and stay covered.